about me, and perhaps you're just joining us for the first time today. Yes, indeed, I am Mad Dog Bob Lassiter. Let me get right down to the mail. Of course, mail has to be read in the same mood that it was written in. You know, it just does not make it unless you read it in the same mood that the writer had in mind when he wrote it. Okay, let me start with this first one. I'll have to get into character for it. Wheeze. Dear sir, it is unfortunate that you have seen fit to hire Bob Lassiter, who was such a problem for WPLP. You will regret this, as he will do you and your company much harm. The man is an inveterate liar and has the morality of a retarded lizard. He is not at all well informed, and his educational background is close to zero. He had been caught lying about this on the air at WPLP. He hates the callers and his contempt for everyone and everything at WFLA. I will admit that his shock over being fired at WPLP has made him somewhat more polite on the air, but he still does unethical things. I'm ready to have you check on the fact that he uses Gordon Bird, a confused, hateful man of multiple personalities like Lassiter at WPLP, to call into the station as various people, Lionel, Rocky, etc. Sometimes Gordon pre-tapes the comments, but he can switch from one character to the other in seconds. Lassiter uses these characters of Gordon Bird and one other WPLP person to make up for no calls and to block calls he does not want on the air. He and Bird have a great time fooling you and the audience. If you check, you will see that Bird is the voice behind most of the calls. Bird is a great hater and has all sorts of stereotypes, except for his own background. I don't understand that either. But anyway, back to the letter. He has had a deep influence over Lassiter for the worse. Bird, Lassiter attack Christians, old people, Northerners, those from the South in general. Northerners from the South? I don't understand that either. But again, back to the letter. It is against FCC regulations for you to allow Lassiter to fool the public this way by using an impersonator. You should have real people, however dull, call into WFLA. Lassiter hates this area and should not stay where he can barely get through the day because of his loathing. You got him out of another mess. WPLP got him out of still another. Some are saying that he is some kind of agent provocateur and that this is why he is being hired. WPLP he admitted that he and his helpmate Gordon Bird and Michael traced calls. For whom? For your own good and the health of this community. You should get this messy mind, that massive pollution out of Tampa. We will all be the better for it. Poor people who trust him should not be messed up by Lassiter anymore. He is half literate, but 100% poison. Signed, Listener. Love that. Love that. It's another one, too. Ooh, mailbag was good this morning. This one's a postcard. October the 8th, 1987. To no brains, Bob. You are wasting primetime radio on an otherwise great radio station. Instead of criticizing snowbirds, which I am not, elderly, which I am not, and everyone who does not come from eastern Pennsylvania or whose name is not Bob Lassiter, you should have some constructive, thought-provoking topics. Thought, by the way, is spelled T-H-O-O-G-H-T. To discuss your programs. Your programs stink. I only listen to you by mistake when I can't get to a radio to change stations. And that one, isn't even signed. I feel it's so hard for some of these people to write letters. If you would like, we could put together a little electronic letter to the general manager this afternoon. If you have the same feelings, the same passion about this program that these two letter writers have, maybe you just might want to take advantage of the facilities of this radio station. We could tape it and send it down to Peter Handy, the general manager, perhaps a copy to with Dick Norton. What is his name? The guy on in the morning is the program director. Dick Norton, I think is his name. We'll give him a copy, too, because obviously, as some of you have clearly caught on, management is not aware of what I do. They have no idea whatsoever. They never listen to the station. They're always listening to the FM. So, I tell them, that I'm going to do nice shows, and I come in here and do what I do, and then I come out of the studio, and they say, what did you do today? And I'll say, well, I did a show on getting people to donate blood to the Red Cross, and they believe it. They have no idea what's going on, and I'm really starting to feel awfully bad about it. I will give you 30 seconds to race to the telephone and we will tape them, allow you to Give your comments, obviously only bad, to the general manager. If you really want to do it, I will allot 30 seconds. I'll give you the telephone numbers. If you're serious about it, you'll get on the phone. If you're not, then we'll go on to something else. It won't cost you a 22-cent stamp. You won't have to trouble yourself looking up words, tough words to spell like thought-provoking. And you know you're there. You have 30 seconds. $20 seconds left. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. There aren't any hate callers on the line, so we will just move on to something else. Cowards. You people are really cowards. Really, really cowards. I mean, come on. These two turkeys that wrote this, you're obviously sitting out there listening, and you have hundreds of people who feel the exact same way, but you're just cowards. Sneaky little cowards who write anonymous letters to the radio station. I do declare, you people ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Absolutely ashamed of yourselves. Well, I have another idea, too. Brad, do you have that promo in there, the letters promo? Could you play that for me? There's a line in that promo that perhaps we could work on today. Just throw it up here on the air if you would.
And now, another look into the WFLA mailbag of Bob Lassiter. George in St. Petersburg says,
miserable birthday fag. He couldn't even get into the National Guard.
Mr. E. Snyder of Largo adds,
his callers are indeed morons and masochists who enjoy being insulted and made fun of.
Stop it right there. Morons and masochists who enjoy being made fun of. If you're a moron or a masochist and you would like to call up and be made fun of, I will also be delighted to chat with you this afternoon, because obviously it's what most of the audience enjoys. And you, according to the letter writer, also enjoy it too. The letter writer must know. He's probably a frequent caller. So this is your opportunity as well. I'm just in a really feisty mood today. It could be an interesting afternoon. 12:19 the time. Oh, surprise. Pinellas, of course, is full. A couple of lines still yet to go in Hillsborough. 3 to be honest with you. 990 WFLA. This should be exciting. Bill in Clearwater. Hi, you're on the air, WFLA. Hello, Bill. Don't chicken out now, Bill. It's your big chance. You've waited for this all of your life, Bill. Your opportunity to talk on the radio. No longer are you going to be just one of the masses, Bill. Now you're out there in front of everybody. Don't be nervous, Bill. Don't be afraid of stumbling over your words. Don't be afraid of being thought of as an idiot. Just speak right up, Bill. Did you have anything else to add, Bill? Bill's kind of laying back there, terrified to talk. Bill's the kind of man that sits at home and shakes his cane at the radio the entire 4 hours that I'm on. Finally, he got up the nerve to dial the phone, or possibly he got his nurse or someone to come in and dial it for him. And he was going to tell me what for. He's still there. I guess Bill's losing his nerve. Perhaps he's just sucking on his oxygen machine, trying to get up, enough wind to go on with a conversation. He was all ready to go just a moment ago, and he was speaking to my producer, Mad Mongrel James. Okay, Bill. You blew it, baby. You blew it back into obscurity, Bill. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. I caught on to that, too.
All right, you're doing a good job, Bob, but
Okay.
I think you ought to be a little bit meaner.
A little bit meaner.
Yeah. Isn't it?
Maybe something like, if you're going to make another dull call like this, Malcolm, don't bother to ring my number.
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yep.
Okay, get off my phone, Malcolm. You're a bore, man. A bore. Ed in Tampa. Hi, you're on the air, WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah?
I just want to call in and abuse you a little bit.
You want to call in and abuse me a little bit? What, are you tired of abusing yourself?
Yeah. Hi, Lassiter.
Yes,
How you
Renee. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Listen, I learned something from you when I listened to your show the other day about trying to keep it up.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you what I did. I went out the other night, last night, okay?
Yeah.
And I met this lady. She was very nice, and it went pretty good. But anyhow, what I did, I went into the room, masturbation. I played it first. Then I went and I listened to the baseball game, and I had it up pretty good all night until, the second time is a long time.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good, and I learned that because that way you can keep it up if you fool around with yourself a little bit at times, and then take care of yourself little by little.
Well, I'm glad you learned that from us, Renee. But for the most part, on those shows, the callers would call up and say things like, I hope your dog drops dead, you're a faggot, you're fat.
Yeah. I think coming Monday, you're going to be up against some stiff competition.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm really scared about it.
They're switching Richard Shanks. You know who he is, don't you?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Oh, okay.
I know him.
Yeah, they're putting him on at 12 against you there.
That's right.
You ever listen to his shows?
Gonna slay him.
Huh?
They will bitterly regret it.
Well, I mean, have you ever listened to him? Tuned into him?
A couple of times, yeah.
You find him pretty interesting?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Mm-mm.
Oh, why is that? Any particular reason?
I just don't.
You just don't find him interesting. I suppose you don't find any of them interesting, right?
Very few people.
How about Fowler?
How about him?
You like him?
Yeah, I'm a friend of David Fowler.
Well, I know you are. No, you have to say something good about him. But I mean, as far as the show goes.
Sometimes I enjoy it, sometimes I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a pretty sincere guy.
Me, not only you, but anybody in this world that keeps referring to the woman. They said, oh...
Well, Marianne, I'm gonna stop you right here and right now because I take great resentment of people that don't bother to listen to what it is that I'm saying. I take real great resentment. Marianne,
I have a question.
Marianne, I will go through this one last time. In Pat Robertson's view, Pat Robertson is the man who walks around calling women who fornicate outside of marriage whores.
Oh,
so by his standards, his wife is a whore.
I know, but I want to know from you, what word can we use to also speak about the man as demeaning as the word whore is to a woman? What do we call a man who isn't...
Any word you want, Marianne, because it ain't my problem. I don't have a hang-up about it.
I have a word to also refer to the man as doing something out of wedlock, such as Pat Robinson is a whore. But what should we call Pat himself?
Any word you'd like to, Marianne. That ain't my problem. You see, I couldn't care less.
I would like to have the man implicated.
Well, make one up, Marianne.
Okay. He's a bastard.
Fine. Now do you feel better?
Well, I don't know, but I would like people, you, Pat Robinson, anybody in this world, not to always talk about the woman who went to bed out of wedlock, but let's say also something about the bastard who took her to bed.
Fine.
Okay.
Okay.
There's kids that listen to your station and hear your bad language. I'm only 11 years old, and I listen to the station, and I hear a lot of the bad language that you say.
Mm-hmm. So?
Well, is your show rated R?
No, my show is rated highly.
Well, then, why do you say such bad language in the daytime?
Such bad language like what?
I'm not allowed to say what you say, because you cuss a lot.
Oh, I cuss a lot.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, what, has it turned you into a juvenile delinquent? Are you out there buying dope now and trying to hire women for illicit purposes?
No, I'm not.
Oh, have you killed anyone recently?
That kind of stuff.
Have you killed anyone recently?
No. All I do is listen to your bad language.
Well, it doesn't seem to have had any effect on you, does it?
Can't you control your language at all?
Yeah, I can control my language. I do control my language. So since it doesn't seem to be having any effect on you adversely, what's your problem?
Well, I hear some real bad things that you say, and I don't even know what they mean, and then I learn what they are.
Wait a second. If you hear me say things and you don't even know what they mean, how do you know they're bad?
Well, because then you start talking about them.
No, the truth is your mom made you make the call. Isn't that the truth?
No, I asked her if I could. And she said it'd be okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you don't even know what I'm saying, I just don't understand how you know it's bad.
Because
you assume that everything that you don't understand is bad?
You talk about it on the radio.
Talk about what on the radio?
About whores and things like that.
Right. Yeah. So do preachers.
I learned what it is.
So do preachers. Every day, preachers get into the pulpit and talk about the exact same things I've talked about.
I mean, they don't go around saying real bad things like you do, though.
Oh, sure they do. All the time, preachers climb into the pulpit and call people whores and even worse. All the time.
Don't do that.
Sure they do.
No, they don't.
Oh, give me a break, kid. Don't lie to me, huh?
Christians don't go around cussing.
Oh, don't they?
No.
Oh, you should hear
Because my mom's
some
a
of the...
Christian herself, and she doesn't cuss at all.
Great for her. I don't cuss either.
You've been doing it on the radio.
Now, what's cuss? Cuss is a curse word, right?
Yeah.
I don't curse anybody. I don't believe in curses, so how could I possibly curse somebody? There is no such thing as a curse.
That's what you've been doing the whole time.
No, you see, a curse would be something like, Mike, I hope your nose falls off for making a stupid call. That would be a curse. A curse would be something like, Mike, you should rot in hell. That would be a curse.
Well, sometimes you do say things like that.
No, I don't. No, I don't, because, Mike, I don't believe in hell.
You don't believe in heaven or hell?
That's right, Mike. So I certainly wouldn't tell anybody to go someplace that I didn't believe existed, would I, Mike?
Maybe when you die, you'll believe in it.
Maybe I will, maybe I won't, Mike.
You might find out.
Yeah, and you kind of hope I go to the other place, don't you, Mike? You see? You're the one who's doing the cursing, Mike. Well, I sure do want to thank Dick Norman for sitting in for me for that first hour. Hi, everybody. An hour late today getting into work, but that's okay. We'll be here till 4. No, not going to work, huh? Nah, one of the curses of having an identifiable voice. You can't beg out of things. Can't beg out. I'm embarrassed. Hey, I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm also Bob Lassiter, but I'm embarrassed. Why did I do that? I don't know why I do these kinds of things. It's not an issue. It's not an issue at all. I can't tell the man that he's wrong. I can tell him that I don't approve, but, so who cares? I have a rule, a little personal rule whenever I'm dealing with my producers and they suggest something to me. I always say, what is the issue? Now, guys like the guest, Bob McGinney or whatever the hell his name was, he makes a living on talk show hosts. He thrives on talk radio because there are hundreds of people that do, in essence, theoretically, at least they think they do, what I do throughout this nation. And they're just always happy to have somebody like Bob McGinney to have on for an hour or two. And there are ways of generating audience response. There are very cheap tricks. A lot of people use them, and I'm not putting them down for it. But nonetheless, it's not the way I try to operate. The things like, hey, how do you feel about swinging? Give us a call and tell it. And, you'll get some people say, I think it's the worst thing in the world. And other people say, I think it's the best thing in the world. And, who cares? Again, what is the issue? But sex. Granted, we all think about it all the time, one way or another, either wanting to do more of it ourselves or being a little bent out of shape that other people are doing so much. It is literally on everybody's mind. Let me tell you a true story. This is a true story. I'm going to tell a tale out of school, if I may. About 7 or 8 months ago, I was working at night. The afternoons were being clobbered in the book and the ratings by FLA. The people that they had on were getting beat really bad. It was Eastman and Coles. They were really getting clobbered by Gonzalez. What did Gonzalez do? Okay? Right? Nobody's putting him down for it. That's what he did. He did a lot of sex talk, right? How do you feel about swinging? Man made a handsome living at it, and I don't knock him for it. I used to, but not now that I work with him. And in any event, we were having a staff meeting in the general manager's office, and all of the talk show hosts had been called in, fed with cheap sandwiches, and we were being lectured and having our brains picked. How can we? What is wrong with our station, and why are those other guys beating our brains out? Well, the general manager who went back to Ohio, cute little guy, Yoki. You remember Yoki if you remember listening to me before. Curly hair, red suspenders. Yoki sat behind this great big desk, and he said, one word, gentlemen, sex. That's what Gonzalez is doing over there. That's what the people want to talk about. Sex. If we want to beat those guys, we have to do much more sex talk. Well, we just kind of looked at him, and except one person in the room. I'll name names. I don't care. I have no shame at all. Tim Coles. The very next day, it was pathetic. I remember sitting home, was flipping back and forth between the two stations, trying to see what people were doing, and on comes Coles And as only Coles could do it. I mean, here's a man in his mid-60s, right? Straight-laced as they can possibly be. He devotes his entire program to sex. It was pathetic, absolutely pathetic. It was, all right, guys, call me up and tell me what the boys are doing wrong, or something to that effect. And he had 3 hours of these ancient, dried-up old prunes, one after another. I don't know if he did it deliberately to send a message to Yoki or what, but the topic was never mentioned again, and it was never suggested again that that would be the way to beat FLA. And Yoki shortly thereafter went back to Ohio. I don't know if it had anything to do with that show or anything to do with that meeting. It may well have. It should have. But nonetheless, sex, sex, sex. It's all you guys really want to talk about, and yet, what is the issue? Now, there are ways of doing it. You know, we stumbled upon one yesterday. But we go out of our minds in this business trying to think, what will play? What will they want to talk about today? I long ago gave up on beating the issues. I am delighted to speak about the issues of the day when there is an issue of the day. But even driving home last night, there's one poor soul still trying to beat the Judge Bork issue. No. It's not the way it's done. It's not the way it's done, and if it is the way it's done, then I don't want any parts of it. Let me out of the business. I'll go sell shoes. Couldn't care less. It's just not what I'm going to do, nor, and this is why I'm apologizing, nor do I frequently get caught in the trap of a provocative guest where there isn't any issue. These people want to swap wives. Hey, let them swap wives. I don't care. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. But nonetheless, the fact remains that we are interested in sex. Primarily what other people are doing as opposed to what you and I are doing, but that's neither here nor there. Thursday. There was a column in Ann Landers. I'd cut it out and saved it. Unfortunately, I got rid of it, but I do remember it. I remember it very well. I was going to do the program on Friday based upon that one simple question and answer to Ann Landers. And on Friday, something else came up, and we took off and ran with it for 4 hours. But I was going to do it on Saturday. And as a matter of fact, I even read the column on Saturday. I read the question prior to a newscast, and I was going to come back and deal with the answer after the newscast, but a terrible thing happened. I had misread the schedule, and I thought I only had a few more minutes to do after the newscast, and as it turns out, I had almost another hour to do, and I was so stunned and shaken that I forgot all about the column, so it never really got done on Saturday either. Yesterday, if you were with us, you know what happened. If you weren't with us, I can't begin to explain it, so it didn't get done yesterday either. And I don't really know that it warrants doing, except it is worthwhile mentioning. It was a typical Ann Landers type of letter, probably written by Yale divinity students as a joke. Said something to the effect of, "Dear Ann, I'm going out with this 27-year-old English teacher, a marvelous woman. Everything is delightful in the relationship, and finally we got around to having sex. And she asked me to wear my motorcycle helmet, saying that would be the only way that she could possibly be totally fulfilled. And so I did. But Ann, it was very uncomfortable, and now she wants me to do it all the time. What should I do?" Signed, who knows? Doesn't make much difference. And the answer started out like a very typical Ann Landers answer. "Dear so-and-so, blankety blank, blah, 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 blah. But if it makes her happy, keep it up for a little while. And then ask her to wear the helmet." That was her answer. In essence. Obviously, I paraphrase, but nonetheless, in essence, that was Ann's answer. Well, the first time I read this thing, I said, "What? This is outrageous. This is outrageous, you miserable, dried-up old prune. All you broads are the same. Keep it up for a while. Keep it up for a while. You broads make me sick. You think it's easy keeping it up? Well, it ain't. All you broads ever do is complain. You're always complaining. We men do the best we possibly can. There ain't no laughing matter either. All you broads always sit around snickering. And giggling and pointing. Makes it all the more difficult. Do this, do that. Wear a motorcycle helmet. Do it with rubber boots on. Do it with your socks on. about time that we stood up. It's about time that we said, get off my back.
No, I'm not finished yet. Keep it up for another hour or so. No, I'm not ready yet. Give me another hour or two of foreplay.
You think we really like stroking hairy legs and caressing lacquered hair? You really think that's what we're into? We are not sex machines. We are sensitive human beings with feelings.
Keep it up for a while longer.
What makes you think we raised and lowered it at will? We don't. Do you really think that we let it just peter out, if you'll pardon the expression, to mess with your heads? No, of course we don't. You really think we sit around and say things like, she looks pretty hot and bothered to me. I think I'll start thinking about the 57 Cleveland Indians, you know? It'll just kind of go away. That'll really mess with her. Why people like Ann Landers run into this problem. Have you ever seen her picture? And my God, that one's probably 30 years old. She wasn't any treat back then. I mean, it is time that we got some things straight. You know what I mean? It, and you know what I'm talking about, has a mind of its own. It cannot be trained to sit up and beg like a dog. But if you hassle us too much, it's just going to roll over and play dead. You get my drift? Pity the poor male member.
Keep it up for a while.
You give it silly names. There's no thought about dignity and feelings. You make demands of it that it can't possibly begin to meet, and then you humiliate it. You think we're not hip to your tricks, ladies? Oh, let me see your big, strong hands. Oh, my, what nice shoes. Let me see them more closely. I was thinking about getting Granddaddy a pair of shoes like that for his birthday. We know what you're up to. And then you try to make us feel guilty.
You men, that's all you think about.
So we try to expand our minds. We try to get interested in art and literature. And what thanks do we get?
Keep it up for a little while longer.
You buy us books that are written by practical jokers that are filled with stories about freaks who can keep it up for 9 hours at a time. It can't be done. And now this poor slob, it's probably a real letter. Poor slob finds himself writing to Ann Landers. And the best Ann can do is say,
keep it up for a little while.
Well, in any event, if it is humanly possible, we shall continue with this program. It will be caller's choice. I couldn't begin to salvage this. We will take your calls on virtually anything. I have no shame this afternoon. I've done myself in. I've done you in. The best I can do now is to give you the telephone numbers. The time. Now we get to the exciting portion of the program. This is the portion of the program where we take your calls. Your calls are always great calls, and I know that they're going to salvage this program. I know that they're going to dig me out of a hole that I have dug for myself with Mr. Swing, or whatever his name was, from California. And the first call, of course, is the most critical call of the program. The first call is the one that sets the entire tone. The first call is the main call. If it's a good one, we're home free. And we have the first call standing by. Let us see what it brings us. Virginia in Pinellas Park, you're on the air at WFLA.
Hello, Mr. Lassiter.
Oh, hello.
Hello, this is Twyla from Pinellas Park. I'd heard when someone said Rocky hung out at 7-Eleven every night starting at 12 o'clock.
Oh, who cares?
I called 7-Eleven about 12:30 a.m. and asked if Rocky was there. I said my name is Twyla, and I was a black lady who lived by Rocky's mother, and I went to meet Rocky and find out about his kinky sex.
Yeah.
The female clerk called me a bitch. Said, come down here, lady, and I will slap the hell out of you. I told her that Pinellas Park protects the blacks, and she had better not try to slap me around. Well, this is a business phone, she said. Just don't be calling from Rocky. Oh, how do you like that, Mr. Lassiter? I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, sir.
Did that woman hang up on me? Sandy in Largo, hi, you're on the air, WFLA.
Hello?
Hello, Sandy.
Yes. I wanted to call and tell you that you sound a little disappointed. I think you had a fight with your wife last night.
No, I didn't have a fight with my wife last night, Sandy.
Are you... This letter?
Oh, the Ann Landers letter. Well, I just think it's absurd.
Keep it up for a little while.
You know, like it's a trained, dog and pony act. It isn't.
Well,
Who the hell's Ann Landers to tell the men of America? Keep it up for a little while. What does she know about it? What experience does she have?
Not very much. But you can. There are ways to improve it. Your length and your time, and there are exercises and various things that you can do for it.
Oh, these are books written by practical jokers to make men feel inadequate. Probably all women, too, wrote those books.
Hey, Bob, I got a couple things I want to talk to you about. I think women ought to practice to be able to come faster, you see.
Well, it only seems reasonable to me.
I think so. Instead of going on with this, we ought to keep it up longer.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of a female problem in as many cases as a male problem.
No, obviously, this woman writing this column is not fit to be giving advice because she does not understand.
All right.
She has no concept of what the issue is.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know who would be, less likely to help you get it up between Ann Landers or Tammy Baker there. I don't know either one of them.
Probably Ann Landers in that particular case, but that's an unusual case that you bring up.
Remember when you were having your poll here a few weeks ago about would you stand behind the bush and watch if somebody was doing it on the beach or whatever?
Right.
Another question was choice between Tammy Baker and a couple other people.
Yes, but that was strictly for entertainment value.
That's right. I think
not that it was a legitimate question.
Right. I think the best answer to all those questions was to stand behind the bush and watch Jim and Tammy Baker. That would be entertainment.
Or stand behind the bush and do something else.
Sensitive joke for these insensitive females who want us to keep it up all night.
Right.
Okay.
Or at least a little while longer.
Okay. How long does it take to make a girl come?
I don't know.
Who cares? And that is all I have to contribute.
Okay, John.
Thank you.
All right. He's a popular man with the ladies, I'm sure.
Yeah, Mr. Lassiter.
Yes, Tiny.
The other day you had a very wise, intelligent man on there who was against masturbation, and you tried to put him down.
Uh-huh.
Well, from my own experience, I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I can call Tiny. I'm 6'4", about 220 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you what happened with me.
Mm-hmm.
I was about, 15, 16 years old or so. My dad and I went down to his athletic club, and the first time I had been there. And we undressed and started to put on our clothes. He looked at me and says, "Hey, Pete, you masturbate?" And I says, "Yeah, Dad, once in a while." Well, he immediately left, went home, put boxing gloves on my 8-year-old brother. Now, my 8-year-old brother now is called 7-Up. And then, when my other brother was born, I don't think he was even born 5 minutes. Boxing gloves went on his hands. He's the one they call the Dirty Dozen. And I'm called Tiny. And I'll tell you, anytime I've had 2 dates, after that I was always called Tiny. And so I agree with that man. Masturbation will make you shrivel up. And I'll tell you, you should see my brothers. They got more dates than they know what to do with.
Thank you, Tiny.
You're welcome, Robert.
Take care.
I beg your pardon. Didn't George Bush make that phrase, Reagan, Voodoonomics?
Voodoo economics, yeah. And then he denied it until they dug up the tape showing him saying it. And then he said, well, yeah, I guess I did.
When you go to your own doctor, he recommends to people.
The entire programming. All of you people just sit back and let the first person just take it away. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Harlan.
I hope I didn't put you to sleep. Well, when you want to go to sleep at night, just play my tape back, and if you'll fall asleep in 5 minutes.
That would be senseless. You didn't put me to sleep. No, Harlow, you didn't put me to sleep.
Oh. He's a smart man, and all the time he's saying all these. He even said a couple of words, like Spanish, come mierda and all that. Man, that guy, he lowered himself to trying to argue too much instead of coming to the point with all the good words he knows and all the intelligence. He seems to me anyway.
that Carolyn, she needs a big chiquita, man. You know what I mean by that?
No, I don't, Renee.
She needs a big chiquita, you know, something big, a big man.
Uh-huh.
And, well, that's what I want to say there. Well, the show was very good. And one more thing about yesterday's show, the masturbation. I'm 42 years old now, too. And I still do that. And I'll tell you why. Because it comes natural. Whatever comes natural, you do. There's nothing to shame about that.
Okay.
And keep it up, Bob.
I'll try.
Okay, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, is there a full sun out today or something? Is that what's bringing all of these people on? It's got to be. But if I can figure out how to get the door unlocked, I might not be back for the next 2 hours, but just in case, stick around, okay? Hey, no anger in me at all today. And you're sitting back there saying, yeah, there's Lassiter. He's not mad about anything today. Boy, that's not fair. It's not right. So I've decided to turn it over to you. Yes, one of those rare opportunities where it is truly, I mean, often I will say it's an open program. Open program to me means no guest. It's not exactly what other people mean when they say open. But today it's caller's choice. Caller's choice, yes, that's what it is today. Because I'm not mad about anything. Nothing has me upset at all today. What do you care? Hey, sit there. Hey, let Lassiter die. Just ruin you if they're not good. It's clearly what's happened to me today. I've been ruined by a bad first call. And a bad second call. And third and fourth and fifth. It just snowballs. Just trouble when they say, good program, Bob. Really enjoying it. You see, if it's really a good program and you're really enjoying it, you don't stop to tell the host, good program, Bob. Really enjoying it. Jay in Tampa, hi, you're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, hey, Bob.
Hi, TJ.
Yeah, hey, good show, Bob. No, I'm just kidding you.
No, you're not kidding me, TJ. I mean, you know, it's... I know when I'm not doing a good program because people constantly tell me what a great program it is.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear somebody say that, my show or anybody else's show, I know that the poor slob behind the microphone is in major trouble.
Uh-oh.
Hey. Oh, hey, everybody's a critic, TJ. Right, call up the guy on the radio, you know, just say this is a zappy one. Hey, it's usually pretty good, but today's a little... Oh, right, TJ.
Hi, Bob. I wanted to ask you this off the air, but I know you're a busy man. I sent you a book a few weeks ago, a hardcover book about evolution and creation.
Uh-huh.
I just want to know your impression of it.
My impression of it?
If you received it.
I literally leafed through it and put it on the bookshelf.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought you might want to talk about it, or if you enjoyed it, you might want to share it.
I haven't enjoyed anything nearly as much since I read fairy tales, because that's what the book is. It's a fairy tale.
I thought you had an open mind.
I do have an open mind. You're the one who has a closed mind.
It's a very logical book.
No, it's not a very logical book at all. It's a fairy tale book.
It's scientifically based with references, okay?
Yeah, for example?
For example, the Scientific American, the origin of life, evolution from space, new scientists. There's thousands of references in the back of the book.
Yeah, maybe there may be thousands of references in the back of the book,
right.
But the biblical story of creation is a fairy tale. It has no basis in fact or science whatsoever.
Well, that's not what the book is all about.
Oh, strange. I kind of thought it was.
No, it uses the National Geographic, the New York Times, the Boston Globe, and it just puts together...
All comes up with the same conclusion. The biblical story of creation is gospel.
No, not really. The book is trying to disprove evolution more than prove creation. It's disproving evolution. It's a real good book. I just thought you might like to read it.